Okay, so here's something to think about. The Golden State Warriors 2022 championship team just lost another piece of its history. Damian Lee announced his retirement.
That's a big moment for Warriors fans and the NBA. Let's dive into what made his career so memorable.
Welcome to DeActa Daily Digest. I'm Joseph,
And I'm Juniper. Here are today's top stories.
starting with Damian Lee, who's stepping away from the NBA after 7 seasons. His journey wasn't the flashiest, but it was full of grit and some unforgettable moments.
That's what makes his story so compelling. He wasn't drafted, but he carved out a solid career playing for the Hawks, Warriors, and Suns. Most notably, he was part of the Warriors' 2022 championship team.
Right, and during that season, he played in 63 games, starting in 5 of them. He wasn't the star, but he was a reliable contributor. Over his 4 seasons with Golden State, he averaged 8.1 points per game and shot nearly 44% from the field. Those are solid numbers for a role player.
And let's not forget that game-winning three-pointer he hit against the Bulls in 2020. It was early in the season, and the Warriors were struggling to find their rhythm. That shot gave them their first win of the season and was a huge morale boost.
Exactly. It's moments like that which cement a player's legacy, even if they're not putting up superstar numbers. And then there's his connection to Stephen Curry. Lee is married to Curry's younger sister, Sidel. That family dynamic added an interesting layer to his time with the Warriors.
It really did. Playing alongside your brother-in-law, who happens to be one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, must have been both inspiring and challenging. But Lee seemed to handle it all with grace.
He did. And now, as he steps away from the game, it'll be interesting to see what's next for him. Coaching, perhaps, or maybe something entirely different.
Time will tell. All right, let's shift gears to another big story. Fervo Energy ringing the NASDAQ opening bell. This company is doing some fascinating work in geothermal energy.
Geothermal often gets overshadowed by solar and wind, but it has so much potential. Fervo Energy is trying to make it scalable and cost competitive, which could be a game changer for the energy sector.
What's unique about geothermal is its reliability. Unlike solar or wind, it doesn't depend on weather conditions. If you can tap into the Earth's heat, you've got a consistent energy source.
That's the key. And Fervo's appearance at NASDAQ is more than just a ceremonial gesture. It's a way of saying, we're here and we're serious about what we're doing. It's also a great way to attract investors and partners.
Absolutely. The company's leadership, Tim Latimer and Jack Norbeck, seem to have a clear vision for where they want to take this technology. It's inspiring to see leaders who are not just running a business, but also pushing for broader change.
And as the world transitions away from fossil fuels, geothermal could play a crucial role. It's not just about reducing emissions, it's about creating a diversified energy mix that can meet global demands reliably and sustainably.
Exactly. And speaking of global demands, let's talk about the oil market. It's been a roller coaster lately, with a fragile ceasefire in the Middle East and President Trump's trip to Beijing.
Oil prices have been fluctuating but staying high, hovering around or above $100 per barrel. The conflict involving Iran has been a major factor, especially with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. That's a critical choke point for global energy.
About 1/5 of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas passes through that strait, so any disruption has massive implications. And with the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran showing no signs of a quick resolution, the market is on edge.
What's fascinating is how this is affecting not just the oil market, but also the broader economy. Higher oil prices are driving up fuel costs, which in turn are contributing to inflation. Economists are warning about ripple effects that could last for months.
And then there's Trump's trip to Beijing. It's a high-stakes visit, especially with China being the largest buyer of Iranian oil despite U.S. sanctions. The dynamics here are incredibly complex.
They really are. On one hand, Trump has said he doesn't expect to need China's help to end the war. On the other hand, the U.S. and China are deeply interconnected when it comes to global trade and energy.
It's a delicate balancing act, to say the least. And let's not forget the role of organizations like OPEC and the International Energy Agency. OPEC just trimmed its forecast for global oil demand growth, And the IEA is warning that supply won't meet demand this year.
It's a perfect storm of factors. And while all this is happening, U.S. crude inventories are falling, which only adds to the pressure. It's a reminder of how interconnected everything is: geopolitics, economics, energy markets. Nothing exists in a vacuum.
That's so true. And it makes me wonder how all these pieces will fit together in the coming months. Will the ceasefire hold? Will the Strait of Hormuz reopen? What role will China play? There are so many variables, and each one has the potential to shift the landscape dramatically. And
It's a lot to keep track of, but that's what makes it so fascinating. So, to wrap up, we've covered a lot today, from Damian Lee's retirement to Fervo Energy's big moment and the complexities of the oil market. Any final thoughts?
just that it's a reminder of how interconnected our world is. Whether it's sports, energy, or geopolitics, the actions of individuals and organizations can have far-reaching impacts. It's all part of the bigger picture.
Well said. And with that, we'll call it a day. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.